Monday today, 14th of April 2025. I'm just ringing Harvey Kinemato in Canada, my old friend. Let's see. See if I can get through. Or Clarence. No, he's not working. No permission. Okay. Trying to call you for you on camera. Right, I'll go to Clarence. Where's Clarence? Clarence. Go to camera. It's the camera. Is on. Yeah, Clarence. Yes, Clarence. I'm just ringing Clarence now. I'm just ringing Clarence. It's alright, you can stay there. It's 6 o'clock in the evening in Canada. No Clarence. What's that?
You might be getting blocked.
Yeah, might be. I'm probably getting cut off all the time. You know, I'll just ring Jason. Manakura are all. Oh, that's Willamu. See if I can get him on the camera. Try and get him now. Nope, can't even get him. Oh, everybody's dead. Sean Plunkett. That's true. Sean Plunkett. Sean Plunkett.
When you come back, you can't get hold of him.
Eh?
It's strange how you can't get hold of him.
No. I can't get Willamu because they must be having talks. I'm just trying to get him on his telephone. Jenny. I'll talk to Jenny. I'll see if I can get Jenny.
Something's not right.
Nobody's
Can't seem to get hold
answering
of him.
anybody, yeah. It's all on platform, the platform. The platform. her, nothing here. And who else? Jason. I'll try Jason. I'll try Jason.
Minutes, because I think it's a very important story that, of course, hasn't really been covered properly by our legacy media, who are looking the other way. I'm going to begin this little rant.
Nope, nobody there. I'll ring William on the phone. This is no good for business, because I can't get anybody. Yeah, William, I was going to try and make my way up there on Wednesday after the radio show with Jack on Wednesday, and I don't know when your Hui's up there. Then if we don't have a Hui this week, then I might not go up there. But I was going to see my two daughters in Auckland before one goes back on the job around the world, and the other one is still there, to have a little talk with her about the business. Okay, I need them to jump in now and give a hand with what I'm doing. Okay, catch you later. Bye. Gee, that's Widowmo, terrible.
Yeah.
I can't get him. That's no good.
There's 4 days now.
Yeah, can't get him. And he's saying keep him in touch.
Yeah.
Well, he's not there to be in touch with. That's why I give up having anything to do with them and their problem. I want to get going. I'm on to the rest of things today. I've got to take a snapshot of my my complaint to the police, send that with the stick, with all the things on the stick, the recordings and everything, to send into my court number today, my police complaint number, and get that going. So I'm still talking on the camera here. I can shoot that up online soon, just a bit of a catch-up call that I'm wanting to go up to Auckland, and then was hoping to go back up to Waikare Marae, with the taumata there. I'll ring them instead. I'm going to ring them in a minute to see what's going on there, and I'll have a look for who's in charge there, the taumata, then ring them up. It'd be better, so I can arrange the hui with them and with Williamu to go up there and sort it all out. So I'm going to not call them now. I'll get back on the camera afterwards, then call them up and see what's going on there with Greg Cook, and using their marae and using Te Tii marae. He's already been crossed out by Williamu, as he didn't give permission for Greg to use the popos, and he's whakapapa there for Greg Cook. So he's in a bit of a problem there, and also talking from Waikira Marae, and their permission to let him use their marae, as his authority on the hill at Pakaru Road is a long way from Waikira Marae, and I want to clear that up as well. And because I'm used to arranging my own huis on the marae, I shall do that now with that marae, Waikare Marae, up there where Ken Brown is, and he knows me very well on his Waomea Marae, and our incorporations with, what's his name, Hoepa, Arpedia, in incorporations, and I had our own 7 wakas in Gisborne. All incorporations were there, and used to go there to Cairns Marae there. So they're all near me in the corporations up around Te Tai Tokoro, and I know the place, all the corporations, I know how that works, and still got all my documents on all that, with Hohepa, my pedia, I've got all that, where even the email when he said for me to take over from him, and I said no, I'm doing Aqua Farms. So that was then with him, and used to go to Whangarei to his office there on that street, I forgot now, anyway the main street, where he was there with his band and the music playing, and we used to go there all the time, have our hui there, and I'm no Greg Cook around anywhere, okay, no Greg Cook all the way through the years, and the only time I saw him was 3 years ago. That's all I've got of him. No marae talk, no videos, no nothing, no photos of him standing with me on the maraes up there, only just now on his Pākehā girlfriend's property, and they've gone and libelled it now. Aiming High, and Gregory Cook being mischief together in bed with Carleen Hireora, and that's a bad image of them on a marae. Waikara marae, Waikare marae, a bad image of lesbians on a marae is not heard of. Okay, not heard of. Now, won't be on my marae, no, not heard of. And that's the image that they're giving to children to follow suit is not on, not in my world, not my kids in Philippines, it's not like that. Okay, so I won't teach kids and apprentices to follow that example on a marae, and I'm going to ring the Waikare marae and talk to the head taumata there to see if Greg Cook has permission from the taumata there for Greg's taumata, which is him and Amy High and Carleen Hireora, Josh Hireora, and a few others that Amy High's mum, and I met her, she's a good woman, but using their farm with his flag flying on that hill, he calls the hill, and it's not a marae. They're trying to make it a marae and a taumata of their own, and borrowed with him was Te Ti marae, and one chief, Tamati Wakanine, there, and using it on his own marae and his shed where he's got his office. It's libel. He's liable because he's going against the government here in Wellington and going his own way and his own flag jurisdiction. Where's his documents? Where's his documents to match Jack Liam, the founder of this country, judge, and that 396-page jurisdiction of this country, he's Ben Dalton on the Waitangi National Trust can't refute, never got a reply from him when he said he will look at it, and Nicole Wihongi told me on camera, in her mouth opening and his mouth opening, that they would need 2 weeks for the chairman, Peter Tepeke, and his group of people in there, the marae, and their corporate business to look at it and get back to me. Well, haven't come back to me yet. They haven't replied, they haven't responded to that 396-page jurisdiction and legal authority, ownership to this country, and the land titles, and the Crown of Britain over that lot too, and over the Crown of New Zealand's solicitor, Jacinda Hamilton, in Hamilton, living in Hamilton, has not responded to me. 3 strikes, and you're out, 3 strikes on the 6th of February 2025. I gave her a copy of the book, 388 pages, and then again on the 23rd of April 2025, I gave her 390 pages, and then again, just the other day on the 20th of March 2025, I gave her 396 pages with everything in there intact, and still no answer to my email that her office and the other three New Zealand Crown solicitors said she will send an email out, and nothing yet. No email means no answer. You are complicit in the fraud, scam business of the Crown of New Zealand Private Corporation, and business that you've got 970 million trillion pound note on your head, because when you open the book up and read it, it says you are liable in a contract. I pulled you into a contract with me and my federal government of New Zealand, and it's also the federal government of Britain, UK. Okay, so there. Because this is supposed to be the federal government of Britain, and they haven't got one. This is it. We're it. And so we have taken over the Crown in Britain, and with this jurisdiction that they can't reply to, and becomes law. Okay? Law makes a contract on that book. When you open it up, I haven't sent it to the government in New Zealand, but their names and their photos are in there, and your Crown solicitor should have done something about it to protect all your 120 ministers. Think it's a joke? It's not a joke. It is public disclosure and complete innocent or guilty. Well, we're telling you you're guilty, charged as complicit in the fraud of the New World Order and Klaus Schwab and now Harari and the New World Order. Okay, so you're in that with NATO and all the fraud going on with Trump and his administration, but minus Musk and Bondi, that's my partners now, in private business. Okay, I'm with them, and they want the projects I've got, that I'm going to go with them. I just needed someone to pay for printing the pound note, the 2 bar pound note in Philippines, that can pay that, and I'll pay them back with a pound note. Okay, I'll borrow whatever it takes to, in their currency, where my partner comes from Philippines, and I'll talk to someone there or someone from China, and China will be better, and Taiwan, my friend Bhutan and Taiwan, and the new partner that I hope I'm going to join up with, just Jensen Huang, the chip man, that's the Americans grabbed him, but I'll grab him back with China, because Donald Trump has put a 10% tariff on all countries that comes to him, like come to me and I'll give you 10%. No, I'm going to put a tariff on him from the Jack and his jurisdiction over Trump and his jurisdiction in the sea of Admiralty, the same as Greg Cook, and his Admiralty in the sea. You go back in the sea, and you're not on the land where we are with the King's flag. Okay, 1834, King George IV flag, and the King William IV flag, that belongs to the native chiefs, and the 8 chiefs, 13 chiefs that signed a contract with him. And I know I'm waiting for 13 chiefs. I left that for William Hey. Appointed him as one of the 13 chiefs to take up the position of the King William IV. Okay, I'm a surrogate King William IV, surrogate King George IV, surrogate King William III, and surrogate Queen Victoria Crown, and King William Trust. King William, my Crown, Queen Victoria Trust, and my Crown, King William III Trust, which Jack is with me as a royal blood DNA descendant of King William III of Orange. Okay, so he's the one that went around the world, picked up the native titles, put the 8-point star on their land, 10-acre block on the land, and transferred into the British Crown of King William III of Orange. Okay, so there, I'm going on that. Legacy at the moment over Waitangi, over New Zealand, over Australia, over Canada, and over America, and every other country that's used King William III's Admiralty law of money, mortgage, and land title transfer. Okay, so that's me with all that document in the 396 page, and Freemasons Property Trust Act 1956 and amended to 2023. And so there, I'm just going on what I know as guarded information from Moy Manukau and his Freemason certificate to make me his direct bloodline Moriori African pyramid descendant legal inheritance. Okay, that's the pyramid and that power generator and the world generator of volcanoes, molten rock and lava. That's Moai Crown. Okay, that's the title of the world itself is the engine that I'm building for the spaceship that Pamela Bondi is passionate about what I think about that, and Musk hasn't got near it yet. So there, I'm wanting to go with him and share the knowledge in space, where my brain is with my eye, right up to Makamaki planet, past his Mars, and gone out there straight away. Okay, so that's where we are. We already discovered out there, we already discovered the universe, and I put a mortgage on the sky with Jack Liam. Okay, it's got a mortgage on the sky minus Musk and minus the Chinese. Okay, I'm going with the Chinese and Musk is African with the pyramid, just as far as his energy project goes, with Tesla there and the frequency, and I'm going with the big fat amps, the melting rock, which is the lava, and the earth itself, the volcano of Moai Crown. That's why the earth is rumbling, because it's Moai's invention of God or Atua. Na Tifa Atua is the pyramid, and God Tikanga Law Lore of truth is Moai. That's the brown dwarf planet, Makemake out there, and Homea. And Homea, Huia, Tahiki. That's where that comes from. There. That's the Maori, straight from Earth beings in native Tahiti, straight out to Makemake. And Homea out there. Okay, that's where that word goes to. Okay, so there, just that. And I'm just going to finish off my complaint to the police. That the complaint is on my Facebook site for you to read what I'm saying about Greg Cook and his new partner, Eamon High, that he's got pregnant, that just through somebody else telling me that over there, and Colin Hideorder and Josh calling himself Taumata with Eamon's High's mother on their land that's separate from Maori land at the marae, where the authority is always the native magistrate court is always the marae's the highest jurisdiction in the world, and only if you know how to do it. Because if you don't know how that works, then you're in the wrong school of Knox. Okay, Gregory is a learner. He's a school kid trying to pick up things from my book and my knowledge and run away with it to see if he can do what I do. And that's what he's trying to do, take over people's lives and control them by force. And that's not how Moai Tikanga law works. It doesn't work like that. The Freemasons have more sense than that fella with no business acumen, no record, no competence of who he is, putting martial law of Navy on a civilian is a no-no. It's not known that somebody like a Maori can come along and do that and think you can get away with it as a cook and use a Tamati Wakanene surname. Where's Mr. Nene? Where's Mr. Waka? And where's Mr. Tamati? Right? You know what it is? Thomas Walker. Nana, Nanny, Kuya. Old woman. That's what that is. An old woman. And always the woman trying to run the marae without the man. That's why they're all back to front. Cart before the horse. That's what's wrong with maraes and fellas like Greg Cook that think they know everything, but goes pear-shaped, just like his home guard. I've got my Wānoa home guard down the East Coast. That's a genuine home guard with the Church of England, okay? And our St. Patrick Church and our Cosgrove family of Irish there at the East Cape and our Cosgrove family, and also the Rogan family at the East Cape Horoera, Te Araroa, and the Rogan judge, and the Cosgrove lawyer, and the Cosgrove Governor General Australia. Okay, we got that down the East Coast on our families, and a few other families with us. Okay, that are at Waitangi. They're down there. That's why, Greg, you don't have a home guard like that, a regional Maori battalion and RSA. Right? My daughter was with Kingi Toto, your chief up there in Ngāpui. She was in the district court in Manukau City as the court judge registrar. Okay, births, deaths and marriages. That's why she knows who's who in the zoo, in Maori whakapapa. You know, she says the one that the name, what the name means, because I got transliteration on my one of my 87 Facebook sites, and you can pick yours out there. It's genuine. That's a genuine change over to Maori to a Pākehā surname. And now I believe that, but when I see a different name that's not there, it's come out of somebody's head. Just like Tamati Wakanene, Thomas Walker, the white paleface man. And Nene is always a nanny or nana, a woman, with the old man. What? With the old white man that goes and puts carvings all over his face and call himself a chief. When you take Wakanene, Tamati Wakanene to Britain, in front of the High Court of Admiralty where I went, to set up the court in the Rolls Building in Fetter Lane in London, then the first thing I'll say, no, we can tell that's a white man. It's not a brown man. He's got a brown skin, but a white man's brain to steal your land. That's what they came here for. That's what the flag of King William IV was, to stop pirates from England coming here and stealing the native land without going through the Crown in Britain. They got their own Crown and Museum, and they disregard and cut off the Crown in Britain and made Cindy Kira a crown as if she's from England. That's a Japanese Maori taking over this country, and Paul Goldsmith, he's the man of the emblems and flags and those sort of things, has gazetted Cindy Kira, Maori from Ngāti Hine, and where Greg is in that area, the mischief ones, the mischief people there, the white man and the Japanese, that made this new Crown Sovereign of New Zealand. New title to their corporate business. You see, and Gregory Cook doesn't have a corporate business. He wouldn't know how to run the bloody thing. He's running his father's oyster farm. He's risked it. He's put it liable, because that's where he lives, on his oyster farm. His dad, he's gone and libelled it because he's running his business there. And down at 20, what's the street in Opua, I forgot that street now. But anyway, along there I've got the address there, and he's running on top of Pakaru Road, just at the end of the metal road, up in the paddock on the hill. The High, Eamon High's place, her mother's place, and hiding away over there with his taumata, his homemade taumata, as if he's got a marae, and libelled that little farm there. It's going to get a mortgage on his head, because I put a mortgage on his head, a bail bond of £1 trillion notes on your head, all of you in that so-called marae and taumata. It's got mortgage. You have mortgage right off the land. The land's going to get sold, everything, the oysters, everything, to pay your stupid mistake. And that's all you have. A robot won't make a mistake like that and make out to be someone you're not, especially playing around with Navy. You don't play around with Navy and then call yourself a martial law court judge. Now, that's just stupidity. You know, Napu, you're better than that. You're better than that. Put them out into the sea and send them packing out of the place, because you don't need that leadership in front of me and Ngāpuhi. I know Ngāpuhi back to front. I know all the tribes back to front because that's why I don't muck around with bullshit. Okay, I'm taking you on your word, put it up against that 396 page. It took me ages to put that together and a lot of thinking and a lot of brain power. Now, go and do that and put me with where yours, Gregory. Where's your book? If you haven't got one, you've never had one. You just made it out of your head, just like your government in Wellington made it out of their head. Their constitution made it out of their head. What's wrong with the British Constitution, 1852? What's wrong with that constitution that the Queen gave? No, you threw it in the rubbish and put your own there. Look at it now, big fat mess, just the same as England, big fat mess. And now the Muslims taken over that place because you let them in. You're too lazy to sink it out. You let them come in and do their thing on top of you and then do it on Waitangi in front of me? Hell no. You don't do that to me. You get stuck back into the sea where you come from because you all gotten on the land from the sea. You go back in the sea if you play up in front of this federal government court. Okay, because I know what I'm doing, you don't know what you're doing because you can't join the dots. And trying to take it in 3 years, Gregory Cook, 3 years, not 20, 3 years. I've never seen you 20 years on my photos, on my videos. You're not there. Everybody else is except you. Why are you saying 20 years and you're my understudy? You're not my understudy. You've gone through Dion Walker, Tamati Wakanine. That's who he is. And Ngāti Whātua, the Humbug tribe. Ngāti Whātua is really Ngāti Whātua. That's the Moriori Manukau's tribe. Ngāti Whātua is that wooden flag of Rogans, the Masons in Awaroa Native Court Bank in Helensville, 20 Commercial Street, Helensville, is that flag, the wooden one, that's got the money in it, and the bank, and the land transfer, 10-acre block there for the whole world. Nothing up there in Ngāpuhi, nothing, just completely nothing. Just the flag flying around as a protest flag. That's all it is, a protest flag. It is not international when it's supposed to be with the 4 8-point stars of St. Patrick. You can't put that together, Greg, because you're not Irish. I'm Irish. I'm Irish in me. The Cosgroves that put that together, mate, with King William III, okay, of Orange. He put that together, the 8-point star that your Queen and your crooked family of Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth and Charlie Pedophile and now William the Antichrist, is Muslim, is going to change the face of England, change the face of our contract, and our contract is still the old original contract that you broke. The same as what your Maori Party has done today in the Parliament in Wellington. The Maori Party said, no, we're out of here. We're going to do our own party, our own government, our own parliament. And so they signed a contract to swear their oath to King Charles. And then they changed their mind and said, sorry, Lakshan, we're going on our own. We're going to do our own thing because of our culture. And there, I said, no, that's what's his name? That fellow on the TV program. That's Sean Plunkett. Sean Plunkett for the what's it called? What's the name of that damn outfit? The platform, right? The TV program platform. He said the Maori Party has broken their contract with the government in Wellington. Sure, they always break contracts in government there. No different. They've broken their contract, signed an oath to swear their oath to King Charles in England, and then changed their mind the next day and said, sorry, we're going our own way with our own parliament and our Maori government. You see? And so they've broken a contract. They've got a default contract. The government can sue them for all their land, for all the properties that are on the land, and they're only 15% of the population. They've got to buy back 15% of the land of New Zealand, while the other 85% is controlled by the government of Wellington. Okay? So that's a problem. the Maori themselves in the park here with Gregory Cook and that ilk has gone and stuffed it up with the King Edward and the Queen Elizabeth and the Muslims. Putting Muslims on Te Tii Marae has violated my thoughts and violated my tikanga law of Moai on East Island. Okay, and our contract with John Patterson, the man that was his ancestor, William Patterson, created the Bank of England Act and created the Pound Note Act, the Tuba Pound Note, and created the Bill of Rights Act and also the jurisdiction of trade, right? Slave trade. King William III and William Patterson, the Pound Note man. So I'm taking his place with the 2 bar pound note to bankrupt all of you lot of turkeys with the 1 bar pound note and the US fiat money come from the 1 bar pound note with the pyramid stolen off Moi Manukau's Moriori people in Africa. I'm getting that back, put it on the 2 bar pound note as the rightful owner, the indigenous surname African owners of that land and that pyramid and its dirt property. That's not white man. It was never a white man that put that idea together. I'm just coming along with another idea to take the whole Earth planet model that's got more sparks in it than the pyramid and stick that together and see if anybody's going to come near it, because it'll melt you all out of existence into lava and porous rock melting down the hill. Okay, so there, that's the difference between the pyramid engine idea and the Moai earth motor, battery, generator, DC current, welder to weld you all up in bits and melt you into lava. Okay, that's what that means. If you play around with God's earth, it will backfire and erupt like it's doing now and make earthquakes naturally, not enhanced by stupid white man trying to be God. Right? You're going to get knocked in the head before long. Stupid people like Greg Cook, the ex-Pākehā with a brown skin, a stupid brain, white Pākehā brain, and a brown skin to mask over with a Maori name, or so-called Tamati Wakanene. Yeah? I've got issues about that. I want to go and chuck it away into the sea where it came from. That's where that idea came from. And chuck all the bad ideas out with the bad actors and the bad inventors. Okay, chuck them all in the sea and just go back to normal with normal people that don't have stress like that fella making stress of mental headache for people, especially women in Ngāpuhi. Make them go mad and spin their music and their rat-a-tat-tat music and make them go stupid with the wrong frequency. That's what it is. My motor is frequency. Okay, it's frequency motor and also the a means of making this earth work. Okay, so there, that's all I wanted to say, and I'll just get this complaint away to the police so I can get on with Musk, get on with Bondi, Permanent Bondi, Attorney General, waiting for me. I've got my messages from Bondi saying, yes, tell me if you want to know anything, and I'll tell you. Okay, see, that's straight away. I didn't have to wait. I'll get the answer straight away because he's got AI right next to it. Okay, and Musk as well. Musk is telling different answers because it's not, he don't need AI to talk to me about his ideas. I'm going to teach him how to make a best engine in the world, fastest. That's what I said to Pam Bondi. Fastest travel, cleanest, quietest travel, and get somewhere quick and lift heavy things out of the ocean. Like the Titanic. I'll lift the Titanic out with a spaceship. You watch. That won't take long to do. Just to show you it's very powerful idea. This one, that's God's power. Not mine, God's power. That's who's telling me how to do it. Because it's carved into rock. There, so you can see it was there, invented before you came along and dug it up and looking for answers to where the intelligence comes from. The higher intellect was already carved in the rock, you stupid people. It's already discovered. Don't go and try and discover something discovered. Okay? Researcher trying to research something researched already. Okay? So there you go. The Musk is onto something with the crypto. I'm getting the chip coin going to overpower and overrun the crypto because it's unstable, it's volatile, it's useless, it's not real, it's humbug, it's making people lose. You're a loser if you go into it. Some win, only the rich people win, all the losers lose every time. And Michael Saylor is using it. I'm going to go right beside him and put the pound note right beside him and the real pound note and the real chip coin, which will outmaneuver the crypto out of business. Okay? Only because they don't have jurisdiction from the kings. They don't have kings over there in America. They're franchisors. And the franchisee is the kings, like King Jack Liam, the Dutchman with the brains to go around the world and get everybody's native title, put it in the crown, a piece of paper with the mortgage on it. And that's all you're going to get, a mortgage on the sky on Wednesday, this Wednesday, 2 days' time when I go back to Hamilton with Jack. And we'll also put the chip coin in there too and get that spinning away. Okay, I've got our Chinese man in China at the moment. I'm going to get all of them and tell them, Trump put 120% tariff on him, the Chinese man, and make them pay for good technology that's ruling the world. The high tech, that's where I'm going with the high tech and outmaneuver Trump and his brain. And because why should he put 120% tariff on the brains and 10% on all the other brains that can get away with tax and deregulated, decentralized money of Michael Saylor? Why one law for him and his Bitcoin and another law for the crypto? Why are there different standards? And we don't have that. We don't believe in that. That's not equality. That's division. That's division. And same in Newsom. Greg Cook's got division on his brain, and he's got a sword of Queen Elizabeth to cut somebody's head off like mine, and because he's getting jealous because he hasn't got intellect that can talk properly to anybody, and he yells above me to try and get me off, and then hangs up on me. See, he who leaves the battlefield loses by default. You see, he's guilty until can't be proven innocent. Okay? He can't go to court where I set it up in the Rolls Building in London, Admiralty Court there. You can see it on my page, on my website, one of them, the High Court in London, with the judges there to chuck naughty boys in there and naughty girls in there to face up to the jurisdiction of that book, 396 pages of Jack Liam, okay, the Dutch king. Okay, he's the King William III of Orange that put you on the land with his mortgage, and he'll kick you off the land with his mortgage. Okay, you got that, Miss Eamon High? Your land there is mortgaged, and whatever Jack says goes. Hey, that's how the law works. You play around with this court, you get stung. We play around with your court that has no jurisdiction unless you put a book there to match the 396 page. You've already seen it, you opened it up, guess what it says? You are liable for the contract bill. Okay, silly people, dumb. Go and take it to the lawyer and take me to court, see if you win. I'm waiting for someone to take me to court so you lose. Try. See how much you got first, because you got to put a bond up of £1 trillion notes before you go there, because that's what Trump's law says. Put a bond up, so when you go there, if you lose your bond. So, you ever got £1 trillion, you lose. Straight away, because you opened the book, just like Ben Dalton opened the book, and Nicole Wihongi and the Waitangi Treaty Grounds. They opened the book, and guess what? I'm a fucking mortgage broker, mate. And that pulls you into contract by written statements, and you can't refute and rebut a written public statement. That's better than a flag flying around doing nothing. Your flag, Greg Cook, you can't back it up with history and a timeline of events, and especially sovereignty. You didn't cede sovereignty, but the Crown took it anyway. The Crown in Wellington, not the one in Britain, the one in Wellington, took your sovereignty and cashed it in. They cashed it in, and you had no choice. You can't keep saying you didn't cede sovereignty, and you say that to Luxton and say that to the Maori Party. Now, see, the Maori Party crawled out of there. That's you, Greg, and you're Maori. Josh Hiroora and Colleen Hiroora, Maori, and Pākehā, Eamon High, your floozy in bed with two lesbians, is a poor example of ngāpui. That's the trend of being transvestites and dirty little stuffing little mongrels right in front of me acting bad actors. Right? You get stung with the law. The law versus where's your law? Greg Cook, where's your law? A sword with some blood on it? Come off it. They don't want loss, harm and injury, especially threats. They're in the police to deal with you. Okay, you're a police matter of public interest. Okay, you are public interest. They know what I'm doing because I tell everybody what I do. What about you? You tell them what you do. Go around brandishing a sword, saying you have the right to cut somebody's head off in public and publicly say it. That's in this stick. It's in here, going to the police. And everybody's listening to you saying that about me. You're going to behead me, bury me without a head. On there, on the stick. But the police have got it. I want to see how long they're going to take to put you in jail. Because if they don't, I will. Okay? Because I'm allowed to say these things. Not you. You're not, because you're a little boy. Still learning from my documents how to do things and think you can do it? You can't go above oldie people because they're wise. They're not like you. Stupid. Porangi, brain. Mental case. You're telling those people they're mental? You're mental. Gregory Cook, not Miracle and her baby. They were there in their house. The winds looked after them. They didn't need you to protect them. You just made a mess of their life and called them mental, called all the others mental and sacked them. What's that going to send? What signal does that send to all the people who want to join you in the Home Guard? Now it's an honour guard. Who are you honouring? The devil and Satan? The black line on that flag? You don't know about that flag. You wouldn't have a bloody clue what it means. It's all the things you're doing against the king who gave that flag for the native who's brainy than you. Huh? You are a lawless white man that's come from England, not Scotland, the land fella that transferred lands and the 10-acre block. You come from England, the Bank of England, the corrupted fraud, Rothschilds, right? £1 pound note, that's fraud, tainted money. Yeah, that's you, tainted money. And I'm going to put a 2 bar to bang you out of business and chuck you off the land back into the Sea of Admiralty. That's where you come from, a tin boat out there. You came on the land and you're in our court, right? A native court, indigenous native sovereign. A crypto, it means sovereign. Crypto and digital land titles. Yeah? You don't know anything about the new laws, do you? You don't know everything's press button. You wouldn't have a flipping clue how that works. The money that goes with the land title and the transfer to the British Crown. That, you can't talk British Crown. You're trying to be a navy, that's just one part. That's a protectorate. You're not worth protecting nothing. You can't protect a kid. Right? And calling them insane. You're the bloody insane one that's teaching people how to be insane and wave a sword around that Queen Elizabeth bad actor and cuts people's hair off at will. That's how Muslims talk. They talk like that. They come here to take over. You know what Trump's doing? He's deporting 1 million just now. 1 million Muslims He's chucking them out because they came in as babies, 14, 13-year-old, 10-year-old, and they were 41 years old. Not 12 years old to carry a gun, but 45 years too old to carry a gun and a weapon to shoot everybody outside. That's what you are, Greg. You are a terrorist. That's Muslim in the brain because you've run out of options because your English people in England, where Westminster is, turned on us and broke the contract with us here, the native chiefs, the real Ututonga. You came down the East Coast, you told everybody you came down the East Coast because you came to get Ututonga's title because I had Ututonga's one house of the whole of the Bell Islands and the Williams pinched it. Okay, I looked after the Williams, Harry Williams or Harry Ututonga. He took the Ututonga name as a Williams white man with a brown skin, right? Because he was in the federal government, the Confederation of the United Tribes of Helensville with Mohi Manukau. All those ones were with Delaware Hongi in Ittrick Place in Mangere. That's where the office was. There. I was with them there, and then Mohi said, come on, let's get out of here, go back to Helensville, we'll operate from there. That's where I went with him back there, and then Ricky is there, his son is in 12 Stewart Place. See, the name Stewart Place, the street, is where Mohi's house was. The little old shack is still there with no power, and Ricky, his son, lives in there, and Rita was there signing my documents with Mohi Manukau. I got all that history, Gregory. Where's yours? Where's your Mr. Cook? Mr. Crook the cook. What? Where? Mr. Cuckoo. Where? Where is your timeline of history, the events of traditional history, not your contemporary history of a professor that put Kawharu title together in 95 to use Kawharu and the wrong Kawharu from the South Island, right? I went down South Island to go and meet all the Koata and Grace Koata and her family, the Kawharus down there in Nelson and Derville Island. I've met them and brought them all up in a ropu up to Mangere, to the marae out at the airport. That was the King Tuhachi, yes, marae there. And Mohi said, no, I don't want him in there. I don't want King Tuhachi or any of their people in there. So he booted us out after we paid the deposit. And so we had to run away to Manirewa, the Ngāti Pros there, and they let us into the marae there, their spare marae, with the other one was a funeral on. They let us do our ropu there. And I went through all that trouble because Kawharu, the Sir Hugh Kawharu, took the Kawharu title, and I'm going to build the shit out of you and Ngāti Whātua because you fellas stole the Manukau's title in Helensville and the Kaipara and took it away as your own founding and left the Manukau's with nothing. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to put the history right and get the Manukau's their land back and put you as tenants on their land. Okay, that's what I'm doing because I'm allowed to do that with the Freemasons and the 33-degree Mason in England. You're England, you English people like Greg Cook, your people there, and you can't use that 33-degree Mason because you wouldn't have a fucking clue. You're not in it. Right? You don't know how to talk that talk with their symbols on your documents. You don't have the seals that I have on my documents that can prove that it's true, all the way true. And where's yours? You're only on the sea with a bloody sail on a ship, and that's about it. Nothing else. Nothing else. You can't be a king that went to sea to bring the titles here. You didn't. Your queen and your king, King William, that's going to be the new king, is Antichrist. Nothing to do with the Church of England, nothing to do with Bible. You fellas threw the Bible away and grabbed the next thing going, the Muslim, to cover up your fraud, cover up your bad mistakes, and that's all you are, bad mistake. You are a stain and a scar on society. You're a scar on Ngāpuhi. You're making Ngāpuhi look like savages and deadly people that can kill to keep power. You're a control freak, you're out of order, you're lawless, and you're just showing everybody what you like. And I'm going up there to go to that marae, Waikato marae, and ring them up soon. I'll put it on the camera so you can hear me talking to the taumata that if they ask them, does Greg have permission to use your marae's name and mana and wairua and Māori? You know what the answer is? I already know. The answer is no. He had no authority to come and taka here on our marae. No, he's not from here. He's from the Pākehās at Russell. What's he doing over here? You say, oh, it's the mischief heavy waters. That's who it is. The mischief lesbians. Okay? The mischief lesbian that Greg Cook got his cock in. Right? There. The bad sperm is spreading its virus right to the next generation and try and kill all the other generations out so you can keep your little sperm going. Now, I can tell. That's how it works. That's what a white man thinks. Oh, the more sperms from the white man, the better. The less brown sperms, the better. Eh? Get rid of the married party, chuck them out, and let's go by ourselves. Pākehā, take over the marriage and kick them out. That's what's just happened. Married party took off and said, oh, Pākehā, we're going to do our own thing and kick you fellas off the land. Eh? I'll see how far they get. See how much Maori land they can get and keep, because it's all sold. Only Ngāpu is Maori land left, and see if they're going to keep their Maori land or is it going to melt away. Just like Gregory Cook and his home guard melt away, because it was not real in the first place. It was just an illusion. It was a white man's dream and a white man's control over somebody else's culture and somebody else's native land. You go back to England, Gregory Cook, go back home. Get out of here. I don't want you here, and a lot of other people are pissed off with you too, making a mess of their people's families and splitting them up. You know what? You're calling them mental? You're the bloody mental. Don't call someone that looks after a woman a mental case, and you put your men in there to look after her, and look what happened. They've gone and made a mess of somebody's life, a woman and her baby. Right? I'm not like that. I got babies too. They're growing up and miles away from me, but I still am their father. Okay? I'm a second-hand father, whangai father. Okay, I can handle it from a distance because that's what I like. Investments, which is children. You're supposed to look after kids, you little mongrel. You're not looking after the kid and the mother. That's our investment future, the kid. And you only look after your own self-interest. And like Eddie Mitchell, that's stolen 17 trillion from my brain and gone and bought property in Australia, you're going to lose the whole bloody lot. And all the property in New Zealand too. 10 billion worth down the South Island. I'm going there to pick the whole lot up and take the whole lot off with Jack's mortgage from King William III of Orange. And take you fellas out too with your mortgage on your land, because you're only on your own land that's got security over it. Eh? When it gets to the chip coin and the Bitcoin, you've got another problem. Eh? No brain. Where's your brains? Who are you going to learn from? They're going to steal some more information from me because it's free to people, good people. When you play around with it, guess what? You get stung. Because it's not for pirates. I can be pirate too. I'm a good pirate, not a bad pirate. I can go around and fix the pirates up and get rid of them. Right? Playing around with a pirate's law. This law is a pirate's law for pirates, not you. Okay? It's for people to protect them from pirates. That's what I've got it for. Right? That's what Jack knows that too. He's trying to be good and trying to tell people he's going to bring people together under the Manuriki, the seven wakas. There's the seven wakas down there in Wanganui. That's who he belongs to, the seven wakas. Okay, that's real. They want those wakas to get going and bring everybody together. That's what Jack is. He's an 8-point star of St. Patrick. That's how the attitude is, even though he's with the Catholic Church and the St. Patrick Church. It's a church. It's not a fucking mosque. The mosque doesn't think like that because they only think of their own culture. But when it comes to land that's got a king and a queen and jurisdiction of admiralty, then the Muslims got a problem. because when Trump says, out of here, you go too, okay? You and all your pirate Muslims that are in Waitangi. Off, pack your things and get out. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And it's 1 hour now gone past, and I think that's enough for this. Okay, well, I'll see you later, and I'm going to ring Waikare Marae in Kawakawa to check, to see if Gregory has the permission to use their marae's name and tikanga and also the land underneath them. It's going to shift. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye. Oh, William, give me a call. I'm trying to get you. And Jason, give me a call down south because I'm waiting. Williams wants a rental agreement to go down there. I'll go through Williams because they're going to pay me and my big trailer, or hire a big trailer, put all my stuff in and bring the outboard motor because you might have a boat down there. I'll just get a boat so I can go and save some kenners and crayfish and powers and jump in the water, and I'm not frightened to jump in. Anytime I'll go there and get a cabin, the little one. Don't need a toilet or anything because I'll get a garden shed and put a toilet and shower in there, hook up a little tank from Bunnings, go down and get it, bring it back and stick it up in the garden shed, and just want a bed and a table from Bunnings for my office and my power generator I've got, and hook the thing up in the paddock. Okay? That's me. And then I'll go and get one of those places of Eddie Mitchell and then jump in something there in Queenstown. Okay? We'll sort it out when I get there. Okay. Bye for now.